Right. So why people even talk like he the best at? He didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even. He didn't even have power at 126, 30, or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you? All that's just okay.
Think when's that fight between him and Teofimo Lopez if they fight?
If they fight, I think Shakur wins. I think Shakur wins.
This reason, Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back into the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall.
Boxing pros shared mixed opinions ahead of Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez. Gervonta Davis expressed frustration when discussing Stevenson, questioning why people treat him like a champion before he proves it at the highest level. Davis suggested reputation alone means nothing in elite fights and implied that real respect comes after being tested and beaten by top opposition inside the ring.
Contemporaries have a lot to say these days. Shakur Stevenson, well, of course he's now 135 after all that stuff, and then Devin Haney.
Right. So why people even talk like he the best at? He didn't even fight at 135 yet.
Right.
He didn't even have power at 126, 30, or none of that.
He is good.
Okay. How can you? All that's just okay. How can you stop people that can actually hit? No matter all that boxing, you going to get hit.
Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri break down the upcoming showdown, offering insights into both fighters' strengths and public perception. Paulie points out that Lopez often faces criticism and is sometimes underestimated because Stevenson enjoys greater fame, a larger fan base, and higher visibility. Many spectators naturally lean towards Stevenson, assuming he holds the edge. However, Paulie emphasizes that fight night is where reputations are tested, and Lopez can rise above expectations. He predicts that Lopez will seize the moment to assert himself, proving his skill and resilience inside the ring. According to Paulie, this is Lopez's opportunity to demonstrate his talent on a global stage, showing fans that he can compete at the highest level and potentially defeat Stevenson decisively.
Because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where he's going to be counted out. Because Shakur is looked at by and large as the guy who can dominate boxing in this generation, right? It's just a matter of him getting the opportunity. I myself have felt that he's the guy who could and should be dominating boxing if he gets the right matchups. But bro, this is one of the rare matchups, if not maybe the only matchup, where I feel like it's a big threat here to Shakur. And then it would all come undone only because of this reason. Teofimo Lopez, we've seen him at his best, but he typically brings out his best characteristics when he's back into the wall and he's counted out. And he's going to be counted out in this fight. By and large, people are going to side with Shakur in this fight to win the fight because he's the more consistent fighter, he's the more class fighter overall, and he's just so damn good. But Teofimo has a way, when you're so damn good and he knows you're so damn good and everybody feels like you're gonna beat him, there's just something about Teofimo, man. He brings out a different level and somehow supersedes that guy who is that damn good. We've seen it already. I'm not saying anything that anybody else hasn't already seen, okay? I'm just stipulating it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know who wins this fight. Because again, your better head says Shakur, but then you think about, man, Teofimo, again, what I just explained.
He's got the talent.
I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
Shakur is extremely talented and could be the face of boxing as far as being that good and being that dominant, even though no matter how good you are. But this is one of the rare fights where you can get beat. And I don't ever want to hear any of you tank nut huggers that he fights one Uber driver after another. If Shakur Stevenson loses this fight, I don't ever want to hear any of you saying, oh, well, what about Shakur now? Tank this, tank that. Tank fights the guy that delivers my pizza. He fights the guys in the back that are doing the production. He fights the truck driver. I don't want to hear, because he would never have done.
Lamont Roach approaches the matchup with confidence in Shakur Stevenson's overall command of the ring. From Roach's perspective, this is not a matchup filled with uncertainty or chaos, but one defined by control and rhythm. He sees Stevenson as a fighter who dictates pace from the opening seconds, using distance and timing to make opponents fight at an uncomfortable speed. Roach suggests that if these two were to meet, Stevenson's ability to read movement and shut down offensive patterns would remove much of Teofimo Lopez's explosiveness. In his view, the fight does not turn into a war, but instead becomes a demonstration of how precision and discipline can neutralize aggression. Roach's assessment implies that Stevenson's technical mastery would keep the fight from ever becoming competitive, as Lopez would struggle to find consistent openings or momentum.
Okay, cool.
But and doing that, and so I was always going to fight this year. He knew that too. I was always going to fight this year. It was going to be either like a tune-up or something before I fought him, if we were to get that together.
So who do you think wins that fight between him and Teofimo Lopez if they fight?
If they fight, I think Shakur wins. I think Shakur wins. And I don't think it's going to be like a super tough fight either. I think he just, his IQ will frustrate him. And
wow. Don't you think T.O. has also good ring IQ and also is slick, fast?
I think
explosive?
so, but when you look at T.O.'s performances against guys that are just pure boxers, it's just like he almost lost to Sandor Martin. Some people thought he lost to Sandor Martin. Who else?
He did beat Loma, who's arguably at the time considered one of the best in the world.
He did, and that was a hell of a performance too. A hell of a performance too. So yeah, I mean, I think he's hit or miss. You got to think he got stuff. He a little cuckoo too. Like he has like a little mental lapses every once in a while. Look at the Kambosos fight. Like that's a fight that people would never expect Kambosos to win, and he won a grueling match against him as well. So I just I don't know. I don't think he can get it done against Shakur when it comes to like because it's going to be just a skill match. I don't think he's going to try to rough Shakur.
Roy Jones Jr. frames the matchup around preparation and execution rather than reputation. He emphasizes that Lopez cannot afford lapses in focus against a fighter like Stevenson. Jones explains that Stevenson thrives when opponents hesitate or fall out of structure, quickly capitalizing on mistakes with clean counters and positional control. According to Jones, if Lopez enters the fight without his sharpest instincts and discipline, Stevenson will gradually break him down through accuracy and movement. Jones does not dismiss Lopez's talent, but stresses that talent alone is not enough. Against a fighter as calculated as Stevenson, every round matters. Jones's warning centers on the idea that Stevenson builds advantages patiently, and once momentum shifts, it becomes extremely difficult to reverse.
How does Shakur beat T.O. and vice versa? Stylistically, how does T.O. beat Shakur?
Stylistically, T.O. got to go in and go for broke. He got to go gamble. He got to take some, get some, and that's just the only way to win. If he stays outside and boxes, Shakur gonna pick him apart. Shakur's a polished boxer with some of the best speed in the game right now, and he's a defensive-minded fighter, which is very smart. It's hard to hit him. He makes you gamble to hit him, and he's gonna be a tough one to deal with. But if Teofimo is willing to gamble to beat him, then Teofimo can definitely.
Rolly Romero brings a different tone by labeling the fight a true 50-50 contest. He bases this assessment on the fact that both fighters have already reached championship level and have proven themselves against elite competition. Romero highlights that neither Stevenson nor Lopez enters the fight as an underdog in terms of ability. Instead, he sees contrasting styles that could swing the fight in either direction depending on who imposes their game first. Romero's perspective suggests unpredictability, where timing, confidence, and decision-making could determine the outcome rather than a clear technical gap. By acknowledging both fighters as world-class, Romero frames the matchup as one where adjustments during the fight could matter more than pre-fight expectations.
Yeah.
I think it's a great fight. You'll really see, because I mean, at the end of it, they're both Olympians. They're both multi-division world champions. Tio is an incredible fighter, and Shakur is an incredible fighter. Shakur has a really high blocking IQ and a very. Shakur coming out with good. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a good.
Gary Anduan Russell focuses on a specific version of Teofimo Lopez rather than the fighter in general. He references Lopez's performance against Lomachenko as the blueprint for success. Russell explains that when Lopez commits fully to pressure while staying composed, he becomes a difficult opponent for anyone. In that version, Lopez controls the center of the ring, forces exchanges on his terms, and limits his opponent's ability to reset. Russell believes that if Lopez brings that same intensity and confidence, he can disrupt Stevenson's rhythm and prevent him from settling into a defensive groove. This view does not deny Stevenson's skill, but suggests that Lopez's best performances show he can rise to elite challenges when mentally locked in.
Play out in the ring.
It's 50-50. You know, in order for you to participate in this sport, you got to have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur. And he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. You know, I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks. So a lot of times you'll see him fight somebody that could be stiff competition and it'll wind up being a born fight to a degree. You know, that's why everybody was criticizing him for, oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. Now, just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur, he got a lot of this arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight. Right. You know? But if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko,